We are Fandom Roulette.
Two nerds with a passion for
History,
video games,
tabletop games,
and, well, really any nerdy stuff that comes into our lives.
While we might not be able to name every ship classification in Star Wars,
Or every Pokemon.
or every spell in the player's handbook,
Well, one of us can.
we're still here to have a good time. Hey everyone, welcome to Fan Roulette. This is Joe.
And I'm Cody.
And on Fan Roulette, this is a podcast where we talk about a myriad of nerdy things. What kind of nerdy things? I'm sure you're asking yourself. Why we talk about history, we talk about video games, we talk about tabletop role-playing games, and any other nerdy stuff that we feel like would be fun to talk about as we talk about it and as it pops into our brains. Kind of did some jazz on that one.
I know. I saw that impromptu change up. I like it.
Can I say it's all about the podcast you don't say? So anyway, hey everyone, how's it going, Cody?
Good. How about yourself?
Yeah, it's good.
I mean, as good as everything can be. I guess I don't want to sound too. I'm doing great.
I am doing so great. You know.
I guess it's more of the podcast energy that's kind of putting me in a better mood.
In a better mood, yeah, because we're like talking about fun stuff and
and you know, I'm sure that for a lot of people, this the things that are going on with COVID-19 and all that have been rough. So I hope that we offer some maybe a little escape, a little entertainment here and there.
Hopefully put a little smile on your face.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
You
it's
out
never
there?
Happened.
I want to put a smile on your face.
Ooh, dang, that was sensual.
Oops.
So anyway, hey, you know what's cool?
Ice cubes.
That is true. You know what's cooler than being cool?
Ice cold.
All right.
I know you don't see what I'm doing, but I started dancing as soon as you.
Hell yeah! Obviously, I could hear it. I could hear that chair move.
Yeah, I'm. Hopefully, when I scrub this audio, I don't remove the chair squeaks. I'll add new chair squeaks.
Yeah, add some more in. At that point, it's just gonna become like a cacophony of like horrible chair sounds.
Yeah. That's
that's
the name of my next indie cover band.
Sure, that's a good band name, really.
Yeah. Cacophony of chair noises.
I'm reading a fun old book right now.
Yeah, what fun book are you reading right now?
I don't know if I've talked about this on the podcast before, but it's called Kings of the Wild.
Okay, I know nothing about it.
Okay, so it's a book that was like written just for me.
Okay, and that's very specifically. I'm intrigued that an author was like, you know what? I've got this idea for a book, but I'm going to write it for one unique individual, and his name is Podcast Joe.
I'm from Canada, and this book was published like a few years ago. I think before the podcast even started. But no, it's called Kings of the Wild, and like the basic premise is, what if mercenary bands were like metal bands?
Oh, fuck yeah.
I was like, you have my attention, sir. And so basically like the group they're like all old and washed up now, but like they were like one of the best mercenary bands, and the one guy comes to the protagonist's house. He's like, hey, my friend, like my daughter became a mercenary and now she's trapped in a city and like we have to go save her. And he's like, no man, I'm old and I'm retired. And then the other guy's like, no, we have to get the band back together. So like they're getting all their friends together, and like they've all become like old and fat, and like they don't got what it takes anymore, but like they have to reband up together so they can go and like
they gotta get the band back together.
And I was like, oh sir, you have my undivided attention.
You piqued my curiosity, but now you have my attention.
Yeah, I'm like 200 pages in. I'm enjoying it. I'm having a good time. So, yeah. Anything fun in your end of the world? I bet you're going to be talking about it.
Oh yeah. Well, I've been streaming Final Fantasy VII. Getting ready for the remake. And
those dumbbell arms.
Yeah, and I just got out of what I imagine is going to be the end of the Final Fantasy VII remake area. which is
how is it?
Well, I played the demo of the remake. It's amazing.
That's right. We talked about this.
Yeah, we did
last
talk
time.
about it literally last week. But in terms of but in terms of actual final, no. All right, put the ending in, or put the outro in.
We're making you outro music. You can't stop me. You're not my dad.
You're not my real dad.
Anyway,
but no, I love the area that they're gonna tackle in the remake, which is like Midgar and like the whole, the game. And it's surprising because for me it took 8 hours to get through that first part, and I know. Or I feel it in my heart. I don't know if I actually know this information, but it's going to be like a relatively big game. Like, it's not going to be an 8-hour experience. Like, I think we've waited a little too long for just 8 hours. You know what I mean? So, like, in my heart of hearts, I feel like this is going to be like a fairly lengthy game. And so I'm curious to see how they plan to do that. Because it takes you about an hour to get to the first boss in the remake, which is cool. I like the remake. So I've been doing that. We got out of Midgar and got to that first town and did the whole. You find out about Cloud's mysterious past and how fucking edgy everything is, and the fact that the Shinra Corp has this fucking wild. All right, hold on. It's something I didn't talk about in the episode about Final Fantasy VII, but it's here now.
Hell yeah, let's do it.
I forgot how ridiculous the Shinra Corporation building is. It's like a it's like 80 floors or whatever. And then like as soon as you get above floor 60, there's like random encounters of these like guards and military grade equipment and like a fucking floating fish that has saws for its body, and I'm just like, who wants to fucking work there? Who wants to like oh fuck, I gotta go Monday morning and I gotta go talk to the president of Shinra and like I hate going up to floor 67 because then I have to fix the fucking Midgar puzzle where I gotta put all the Lego pieces into that main thing in order to get the key card to go and talk to him. Like, who built this place and why? Like, it's so wild to me. I am excited to see how they do that part though, or just like that whole section, because as a kid, or even growing up, just playing the game, I really feel like there is something that is missed in the original that they definitely kind of played up a little in like all of the trailers I've seen, where it's like,
okay,
because like the first thing, and this is spoilers for Final Fantasy VII, you're tasked with blowing up a power plant in this city. Like, with a bomb.
Oh.
And, like, that's, like, imagine if that happened in real life. Like, some real-world shit would happen, right? Like, people would be fucked. And if it's in a condensed area, like, imagine, I mean, don't imagine. Please don't. That would be awful. But, like, there's a lot of carnage that they don't really get into in the game. Like, you kind of see some pixels running around. They're like, oh, no, what happened? But, like, it's very quick, so it almost like you miss it, like if you don't think about it for too long, like it's gone. And they do this twice. They blow up 2 buildings.
That's a lot of buildings.
It is a lot of buildings, and I don't know how they got that far, to be honest. But anyways, so I've been playing a lot of Final Fantasy VII, and in my off-stream time, Witcher 3, I'm so jazzed for Animal Crossing this Friday. This dates the episode.
What? Never once have we dated the episode.
We have never dated an episode ever. I dare anyone to find an episode where we did that.
I never once took an episode to a nice Italian restaurant.
Oh.
Yeah,
Okay.
and ordered a bottle of wine and
Oh.
then split that bottle of wine. And like told a
That's
little
cute.
joke.
Yeah,
And it's,
yeah.
ha 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 ha.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're talking about dating episodes, right?
Yeah. Like having. I'm imagining you like at this nice Italian restaurant, and you're just sitting there alone, and you've got like fucking earbuds in, and next to the plate is like your phone all dressed up in like nice attire. I don't know.
Oh, just you would say that. And then it's like, do we want dessert? And it's like, oh no, I don't know. I had a big old meal. It's like,
oh yeah, I'm kind of full, and you know what? I want to.
She just wants that dessert so bad, though.
Yeah,
so.
She's got that dessert stomach. Oh,
oh,
we're gonna have to get the.
And then they're just like cake smeared all over my phone. It's like
it's covered in fucking spaghetti sauce and ice cream.
Yeah, it's bad.
Oh, it's good. It's a good bad time.
Man, what a joke.
Oh man, what an intro. These last couple intros have been a little wild and crazy.
Hell yeah, I love it.
Yeah. So here on Fandom Roulette, we like to talk about nerd shit, and it changes from episode to episode. And today is the video game section, if you will. One of these days it probably will have a actual name. But today,
I think the video game section is just fine.
Yep. That is the title. So today, I'm talking about a game I played on stream a little while ago, but I had a lot of fun with it. And that game is called World of Horror. We'll add some Foley work in there.
That was exciting.
Yeah, so World of Horror is a early access indie game that came out literally probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
February 20th.
And it's a turn-based RPG with, and I'm going to butcher this, so apologies, like kind of right out the gate.
Never once have we butchered anything on this podcast.
I know. So this is first in history. It's heavily inspired by Junji Ito, who is a Japanese artist who's like did a lot of like body horror stuff, and H.P. Lovecraft inspiration. And it reminds me of the if you're familiar with board games, like physical board games, there's a Fantasy Flight series. Sometimes they're called Arkham Horror or Arkham Mansion. Like Arkham is usually the title of them, but it reminds me of those kinds of board games where basically you are solving this mystery while a series of events happen, and you have to kind of roll with the punches, as you will. And it's presented in this very cool, very retro 2D pixel art style. It reminds me of like old school adventure games. And this game is super good. And side note, we've talked about this before on the podcast, but that doesn't mean that everybody's listened to that particular episode. H.P. Lovecraft, not a great dude. Absolutely.
No, he's not.
He's, I would argue, terrible. Wrote insanely racist, xenophobic material. Those elements are not the focus in this game. More of the unknown horror and like just this idea that there's this thing out there that is like drastically more powerful than you could ever fathom, and you have to deal with it.
Wait, can I say a thing I saw online real quick?
Yeah.
It'll be quick, I promise. I saw, it was like one of those things where it was like someone took a Tumblr post and then like, you know, and the first one was, I like H.P. Lovecraft, but I want to replace, but I like H.P. Lovecraft, but I like to replace the racism with horniness. And someone responded to it, I know that's you, Guillermo del Toro.
Yeah, basically.
Okay,
but so, yeah, so the game is set in, and this is probably my favorite. It's set in the year 1980X, which putting X at the end of a year, like in Mega Man and shit, like for some reason that just like brings a big old grin to my face.
Can you hit me with that year again, please?
Yeah, 1988X.
Okay, so I have an issue with this. Usually you do that because like you're setting it in the future.
Sure.
And you want to set it in such a way, like such a place where like no one could like track it. But yeah. 1980 already happened. That's in the
true.
past.
I was born during that time.
Yeah, man. Like,
true.
Okay, carry on.
I mean, so it's in a small town, and like I said before, you solve these eldritch mysteries as you basically you're solving mysteries, and as you solve them, you're basically your ultimate goal is stopping a ancient eldritch evil from basically awakening and destroying the world. And there are various different ones. One of them is like Yazothkla, the all-seeing eye or some shit. One of them's like a giant spider. It's super cool, and it uses a kind of a random event system, almost like if every event was like a stack of cards, and every time you play, it kind of reshuffles those events, and there's so many of them that you kind of have to deal with. And as you like learn more about the current mystery, you're basically given an event, like boom, here's your event. And sometimes they're just outright bad, like you lose stamina or sanity. And if you're familiar with any kind of Arkham style games, that's kind of your health meter. It's like your physical condition and like your mental condition. So some of the events are just straight up bad. You lose shit all the time, or you can make choices, and depending on how well you roll with your stats, you will get useful items or spells or stats. And it is a interesting game. This game oozes a certain aesthetic. Like I said before, Junji Ito.
Yeah.
It oozes that vibe in so many ways. The music done in that kind of, retro game style, but it's always like a little eerie. The game is constantly like a little glitchy, but like glitchy on purpose. So like things will there'll be like short little static bursts, or sometimes things will kind of flicker and be like distorted on purpose. Basically, from my experience, I played it on stream and got through the basic tutorial, which goes through like how a mystery works, which is kind of like the low key thing that you're always working on. And then I got to the next part, which is kind of they put me on rails for what the game is going to be like, but kind of stacked the deck a certain way, I guess. And you played one specific character. I didn't beat it on stream, but I did play it off stream a little later, and then kind of found some tricks to the fighting, because the fighting in this game is pretty brutal. You have a lot of different options, which is super cool, but each monster doesn't always necessarily attack like just your stamina or just your sanity. Like, it's different each time. Certain monsters are very specific on what they do, but you're never really sure what your next encounter is going to be unless you continue to play the game.
That's wild.
Yeah. So there's a doom tracker, and basically as you do stuff, like sometimes spells cost doom, and you can gain skill, like the more, and it's kind of, it's basically a ticking timer, and you get to like, the more you kind of choose like waiting mechanics, like, I'm going to take, there's like 2 routes to get to this shrine, and one of them's really really fast, but kind of dangerous, but the other one's really safe, but like it's the long way. If you do things that like make you take longer, your doom tracker will continue to fill as like the eldritch horrors kind of like slowly starting to like take over. And each time you finish a mystery, there's a debuff that the Eldritch God like kind of throws down on the field. Like eventually you can get to the point where like you can't really rest between mysteries like you're normally supposed to. It's the game's tough. That's very similar to like the Fantasy Flight board games. Like those games are pretty rough. The game out the door is trying to get you and is really good at doing it. But over time, you start to figure out like how the combat system works and like when is a good time to use certain attacks and things like that. And like figuring out like how to play into like your high stats. Because the game will give you choices and those choices are based on your stats. Or like will be augmented by your stats. So like if you have like say someone like comes up to you and is like, give me your money, and it's like pointing a knife at you or whatever, like you can try to talk them down or like run away. And so like obviously talking them down is your charisma stat. So if you have a high charisma, you should try to take that one because you have a better chance of succeeding and potentially either foregoing a negative consequence or whatever.
Sure.
So game's pretty tough and a bit random, but it's aesthetic, and you can watch me play like through the first like 4 hours of it. Like you'll get the vibe almost immediately. The monsters are gross. Like one of the monsters is literally like a person, but like their face is like cut out, and there's just like a mouth with like teeth on like. Ooh. Yeah, and like there's another monster where I'm trying to not spoil like the big ones.
Sure.
So there's like another one where it's like their face is like almost like a broken it's a face, like there's like a human body, but the face is like replaced with like static. And like lots of cool creepy stuff. It doesn't do a whole lot of jump scares. So it's not like one of those games. It's definitely like creepy and it gives you those ooh, this is scary kind of vibes, but it never like, as far as I've played, not a whole lot of jump scares. And I'm kind of a baby when it comes to jump scares. So like
I am very much a baby when it comes to jump scares.
And I didn't have a moment where I was like, nope, I can't play this game anymore because the game jump scared me. Like it's pretty tame on that front, but it's super creepy. Sure. So like, you gotta take what you can get. But also, and I can't stress how important this part is. There is a cute dog that is an item shop. So, and I believe you can pet said dog.
Did this game win Game of the Year, Cody?
You know what? It should. If it hasn't yet, it should.
Like, hey, Death Stranding like reinvented video games or whatever, but can you put a fucking dog in it?
True. 100%.
So
I'm pretty sure there is a Twitter account that's literally just, can you pet the dog? And it basically reviews games by whether or not you can pet a dog in said game. And it's fantastic.
I think so.
But
you can have like a weird baby on your back or whatever, but if you can't pet a dog, get on my face.
Yeah, and I really can't recommend this game enough. It's still early. There's still more stuff that's going to get added. Like, as far as I know, this is basically like the working, like, here is it in its style. Like, this is the kind of game you will be playing, but, they're going, as far as I understand, more cards, more characters, more eldritch horrors, those kinds of things will be added.
That's exciting.
It's got mod support already, so like there'll probably be a lot of like just like other people creating in this environment and making their own stories, which will be cool.
That is cool.
Right now, especially if like you figure out the mechanics really early, because I think I struggled with some of the mechanics because even though they tell you like, here's how the game works, I'm a fucking idiot and like don't read. So like this is definitely one of those games where it's like, read because that's super fucking important. So if you figure it out right away and you're like really good at figuring out kind of how to work RNG to your favor, this might be a short experience, but there's a lot of replayability, and it's set up a really cool groundwork for a really fun, replayable game. And like I said, I think what I love the most is just the aesthetic that it brings to the table and how it's kind of taken, you know, the H.P. Lovecraft idea and has done its own thing, like similar concept, similar theme of like this, you know, this unstoppable, like, you know, almost alien entity, but like really doing its own thing with it. And it is fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I can't recommend it enough.
Sounds like a weird kind of.
Oh, it's
like a
super weird.
Game.
We're gonna, the next time we actually spend time, we're gonna play that game together.
Okay,
it'll be fun.
So like.
I mean, yeah, we'll figure it out.
Sure, but yeah. Yeah, so where can you find this game? Did you say this already?
I bought it on Steam. I saw on because I was looking up some stuff about like its inspiration and stuff like that. I believe it's on Switch and PS4. Future me can edit this if that's wrong.
Sure.
Console versions planned, but not released yet.
But yeah, it's a solid game, so definitely check it out. And it's also like, you know, it's indie game expenditure. Like I think I bought it for like $15.
Okay.
So yeah, it's worth the buy.
So a little thing to pick up during
your
time,
social
distance
social timeout.
Yeah, man. But yeah, anything else?
Nah, that's it.
Okay. Hey Cody, if people really liked this show and they wanted to learn more about it, how could they do that thing that I just said?
Yeah, well, if you're new, fresh, or returning because you love what we do, thank you again for coming to hang out with us. If you are looking for more content, because trust me, we are just oozing with that said content.
Nope.
You can find all of it at www.fandomroulette.com, where you can find our episodes. You can find a little bio of Joe and I. You can also
right there.
Yeah. You can also scroll down to the bottom, and with all of our links to our Twitch, where I stream every Monday, which is twitch.tv/fandomroulette, or just our general social media stuff, there's a little area where you can kind of give us your feedback, or, you know, if you want me to look at a particular game that you're super excited about. I love video games, and I'm always looking for a new suggestion or whatever. So
wait, you do?
Yeah. I know. Wait, I know it's weird because, like, I know.
Wait, that's what we've been doing?
Good
bit.
But yeah, feel free to send us a message because it goes straight to us. And if you're looking for other ways to share the podcast with your friends, but you know, the way that you listen to our content is not something that your friends do, I get it. I'm super weird like that as well. You can find us on iTunes and SoundCloud, Google Play, YouTube, your RSS feeds, all Fandom Roulette.
All the time.
Yeah, we're also on the social medias if you'd like to, you know, get up-to-date messages on when we're posting things, when we go live for the stream, or, you know, any kind of stuff that happens to us during the week. You can follow us on Twitter at fandomr_podcast.
Yeah. We
are also on Instagram and Facebook, Fandom Roulette, if you like the memes and you like just generally...
It's so funny every time you say that.
I know. I really do feel like a 80-something-year-old, like, hey, kids, do you like the memes? I love them. Gosh, golly darn.
I do love me a good artisanal meme. I'm gonna be a big city lawyer.
I do declare I like those memes.
Yep.
So anyways, you can find us in those ways. And, well, I do declare I appreciate all of you coming here and making it this far and listen to us talk about video games and shit.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
Also...
Oh, yeah.
No, I'll let you... Go ahead.
No, you do it.
Okay. Well, so if you've made it this far, thank you. And please remember to... rate, review, like, smash the bell if you're on YouTube.
Yeah,
all those things. Just anything to just destroy it.
Just break that fucking bell. Be like, hear that? Whoever owns YouTube, I think it's Zuckerberg. I don't actually know. Like, I broke your bell.
I broke it. I smashed that bell. But yeah,
ring my bell.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Thank you. It's a song. It's a good song.
Yeah. But yeah, make sure to do those things and kind of help us bring awareness to the Fandom Roulette channel. Any little bit helps us out, and we love to do this and want to create more and do more.
Keep doing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What Cody? Everything Cody said, I agree with.
And again, thanks so much for listening to our podcast.
Yeah. And signing off for Fandom Roulette, this is Joe.
And I'm Cody.
And you know what? As always, please stay nerdy.
Please stay super nerdy. That was a little kiss.